It all began with a small, almost imperceptible sag in my porch floorboards. At first, I ignored it, thinking it was just the natural settling of an old house. But over a few weeks, the boards began to creak more loudly, and a faint, damp smell wafted from beneath. I decided to call in a plumber, and that's when things took a strange and shocking turn. The plumber brought a camera snake to inspect under the porch, promising a quick look to see if any plumbing issues were causing the problem. I watched the monitor, expecting perhaps a minor leak or an old pipe in need of repair. What I saw instead made my jaw drop. A perfectly functional water pipe ran directly beneath my porch, disappearing in the direction of the HOA Clubhouse at the end of the street. My heart sank. I realized this was no ordinary plumbing issue. The HOA had tapped into my water supply, secretly feeding their clubhouse without my knowledge or consent. I felt a mix of disbelief, anger, and betrayal. How could the very organization responsible for maintaining the neighborhood stoop so low? I took photos and video from the camera snake inspection and called the city water department to confirm my suspicions. They verified that the water flow under my porch was indeed feeding a structure I did not authorize them to access. With this evidence, I arranged a meeting with the HOA board. I expected a calm professional discussion, but what I got was a mix of denial, feigned ignorance, and outright excuses. "Oh, that pipe has been there for years. It's part of the community infrastructure," one board member insisted. Another tried to claim, "We always assumed it was okay." I could feel my frustration rising. This wasn't just about water, it was about principle, my property, my rights, and the blatant overreach of a supposedly democratic HOA. I knew I needed a strategy, and fast. First, I hired a licensed plumber to reroute the pipe temporarily, ensuring that my water supply was secure while we figured out the legal side. Meanwhile, I began speaking with neighbors. It turned out, several of them had noticed water shortages or mysterious pipework on their properties but had assumed it was normal. HOA maintenance. Once I shared my findings, the mood shifted from passive acceptance to collective outrage. Encouraged, I organized a neighborhood meeting. I presented the video from the camera snake, showing clearly that the HOA had been siphoning water without permission. The room buzzed with shock and indignation. One elderly neighbor, who had lived here for decades, shook her head and said, "I can't believe they would do this to us. We trusted them." Others nodded, sharing stories of small but suspicious overcharges on water bills, all now connected to the hidden pipe. The HOA board tried to maintain control, but the tide had turned. With evidence in hand and community support behind me, I proposed a solution. The HOA would either reimburse the affected homeowners for water usage and repair any damage caused, or face legal consequences. At first, they resisted, issuing letters filled with bureaucratic jargon and empty promises. But as the local press caught wind of the story, thanks to a neighbor who had connections, the HOA suddenly became very cooperative. Weeks of inspection, repair, and negotiation followed. The pipe under my porch was safely removed and rerouted entirely, no longer feeding the clubhouse. My porch was reinforced, the floorboards replaced, and my water supply fully secured. But more than that, the HOA implemented new transparency measures, ensuring that no secretive work could occur in the future without homeowners' knowledge. It was a small victory for the neighborhood, but a massive win for property rights. Standing on my newly restored porch, watching the sunset over a calm, quiet street, I felt a deep sense of satisfaction. It wasn't just the repaired porch or the secure water line, it was the fact that our community had come together to stand up to overreach. It was proof that even against bureaucratic inertia, persistence, evidence, and unity could make a difference. The incident became something of a legend in our neighborhood. Every time someone mentioned the clubhouse, there was a knowing smile or a whispered story about the hidden pipe under my porch. I laughed along with neighbors, thinking about the irony of how such a small, overlooked space had become the center of such drama. It was a reminder that paying attention, asking questions, and taking action when something seems off can prevent much larger problems down the line. And while it was stressful, exhausting, and at times infuriating, it reminded me of a lesson often overlooked in daily life. Property rights matter, honesty matters, and courage matters. Standing up, even when you feel small compared to the organization or system in question, can lead to real change. I didn't just secure my porch and water line, I helped protect my neighbors from potential exploitation and reminded the HOA that transparency and accountability are non-negotiable. If you enjoyed this story of uncovering secrets, taking a stand, and achieving a comeback against overreach, please like and subscribe to my channel. I share real-life neighborhood dramas, HOA stories, and tales of homeowners who refuse to be ignored. Also, I'd love to know where are you watching from, scare your city or state, in the comments so we can connect with viewers all across the USA. Stories like this remind us that it's never too late to stand up for what's right, to investigate when things feel off, and to rally your community to support one another. A camera snake, a few curious glances under a porch, and a determination to protect my property ended up saving not just my home, but creating a safer, more accountable environment for everyone around me. The porch, once sagging and suspicious, now stands strong. The pipe that fed the HOA Clubhouse is gone. And the neighborhood is more united than ever, ready to keep an eye out for overreach and to act when something doesn't feel right. I walk out there daily, enjoying the flowers and the fresh air, knowing that a small act of curiosity, simply checking under my porch, turned into a major victory for property rights and community accountability. It's a story I'll tell for years, a reminder that vigilance, evidence, and courage can turn the tables, no matter how entrenched the problem seems. And if this tale inspired you, or if you've ever had a run-in with an HOA or mysterious neighborhood mysteries, please comment below, like, and subscribe. I want to hear your stories, and I want to connect with viewers from all over the USA together. We can share experiences, learn from each other, and celebrate the small victories that make a real difference in our communities.